Okay, I'm going to be looking at the case of George Smith. I'm going to try to do kind of, if I can, given family and all that, noise wise, to do some quickie true crime tarot shorts, if you will, on some cases that were asked. One of them is on the one I'm going to do right now, George Smith, and another one will be on Lindsay Buziak. I think I did one on her a long time ago. I can't remember, but I'm always glad, usually, to go ahead and update because, you know, readings can be off, and some days you're more on, you just are, and then others. So updating wouldn't be a bad idea. So I'm going to look. I've never read, I don't think, on George Smith. I do remember his case, however. It was in 2005, I believe. What was the month? I think July. Was it 2005? Yeah, it was July of 2005. And he was on the Royal Caribbean International cruise ship, the MS Brilliance of the Seas. And he was on his honeymoon. He was finishing out, I think. He'd already been like, what was it? Okay, yeah, 11 days earlier, he had married Jennifer Hagel, and they were on their honeymoon, and they were on a 2-week trip to the Mediterranean that would be stopping off in Greece, Turkey, and Italy, among other locations. Now, there was foul play. He mysteriously disappeared in the early hours, July 5th, 2005, and evidence suggested foul play because there were these infamous now bloodstains that were found in his cabin as well as on the side of the ship. And you could see the white of the ship, and it was clear. Like it looked like a kind of an outline of a part of the body, like the trunk. And it was clearly like the clothes had been saturated in blood. And I don't know how long the body was sitting on that part of the ship, but it didn't stay there. So anyhow, what did it say here? I just wanted to get some basics out to you to refresh you. I know I'm trying to make this short, but let's just see what we can get here. All right. So it might have been that he was tossed off the ship or fallen overboard or drowned. And the police suspected homicide. So I'm going with that because like the type of blood stains, it wasn't just like, George had a bloody nose and fell over the side of the ship because he was too intoxicated or something. It was not like that. This looked like someone chose violence. And it would just be odd because here's this guy that's out on his honeymoon. He's just your typical person, American, out on his honeymoon. Now, since the investigation, let's just, it continued into 2012. There had been some rumored to the mafia. The matter had been referred to the mafia division of the FBI. Anyway, Dateline shed new light on the theory that the death most likely was a robbery that had gone bad. And his wife, remarried in 2009, certainly was criticized by his family as well for her conduct on the night of his disappearance. I don't know. I'm not going to judge her. She continues to believe that it was an accident caused by his intoxication. And in June 2006, she accepted compensation of $1.1 million from Royal Caribbean. However, George's family later challenged the terms of settlement as well as the amounts of the monetary compensation. Okay. So Smith's disappearance led to a wider interest in cruise passenger rights. That's something to be looked up if you're going to go on a cruise. I would highly recommend. And there's a bill, it's saying, that is up. Maybe it was in 2013 they introduced it. That's supposed to bring more transparency. Okay. So there you go. There's cruise ships, you're kind of out there stuck with whoever you're out there stuck with. I'm not keen to be out on a cruise ship. I'm sure they're great fun, but yeah. I already feel trapped in a chair. I don't need to feel double trapped. Okay. So let's take a look at George Smith. Hope you didn't mind that quickie intro. So, and what I'm going to ask is, what was the motive of George Smith's death? In other words, what initiated his death? What set of circumstances? What interactions did he have? Or what was the scene? What happened? And I'm asking Holy Spirit to, as always, guide me, my spirit guides, and through the use of the tarot symbology, my own intuition. And this is alleged for entertainment purposes and education purposes of cardiomancy. George Smith. Let's see. He was born October 3rd, 1978. Air sign. Libra. George Smith. I'm trying to kind of dial into his energy. All right. What happened to cause his death? All right, let's see what we get. And if you're wanting to know which deck I'm using, I know this time. Ha ha ha. This is the, what was it? Light Seers Tarot. Okay, we're getting 3. This is the effort of more than one person. And often 3 tends to be the number when I've read and used the cards in true crime. So we'll put some attention to the specific number of 3. But always, it's like you're taking notes. Because you are. I tend to think it's a smaller group, it wasn't just one person that is responsible for his passing. And they would be quite sophisticated. Also, they might work in for the cruise line. That's quite possible too, because the 8 of Pentacles indicates often things to do with employment and work, money. Also skills, career skills, so on and so forth. So it could definitely be a thing that we have a very skilled small set of people operating that are responsible and that worked for or together, and possibly also for the cruise, because what the hey are they doing out there? Now, you could say, well, they could have been all passengers, quite possibly. But these 2 cards lead me to feel like there is a probable link to at least one of them, if not all, having employment aboard the cruise. I don't know. I'll hold that loosely. But it definitely says you got a small group of people that are pretty proficient at what they're able to do, working together, that are behind, pardon the wound back, the passing. It would also look to me to be very, quite possibly, monetarily or value motivated. There's some benefit for sure, I would think. Now we're getting the Page of Cups, and this is a little bit weird. With this deck, I often get actual visual things that are clues, and I come to find later, when I found out more about a case and I see the picture again, this guy, look, he is seated out and the water's all around him. And then there's, oddly, a pig flying and a set of feet he's flying to. This could be some form of, honest to goodness, because pages are usually like messages, but it's also an initiatory, new-ish energy. It can be even childlike, lighthearted. It could have been that he was lighthearted. And the Two of Pentacles. Could be also immaturity in people. We have maybe dueling set of motives. There's juggling. But again, these are pentacles. And, it could be the energy of a mug. It could be the energy of trying to take something off of someone. And acting lighthearted about it, or while someone's under influence, or somebody having mood swings that's under the influence, or that someone that's just immature that has mood swings, or that the message could be they don't take it very seriously, or didn't at the time. Definitely get the message very clearly about a small group working together very proficiently. And it could be looking also for people that look more like well-to-do professionals also that are targeted, maybe that are tipsy. That could also be the Two of Pentacles and that Page of Cups energy right there. So I would say that you got a group of people looking for folks that might look tipsy, a bit more childlike in their perception and awareness. So they could be under the influence of something. I'm getting the cards of the Lovers and the Eight of Wands. Well, this would be attraction, I'm feeling like. It could have been, too, that they took notice of the pair, him and his wife, that there is, I feel like there is energy put toward him. But the Lovers, that's a couple. It could also indicate that there might not just be all men involved. Oftentimes you might be surprised to find out that the couple that you kept sawing with the Lovers could be an actual couple that could be involved. If this isn't somehow speaking of the honeymoon, which it could be. And it could be that they were aware that he was on his honeymoon. Could have been watching him. All right. definitely people that are up to no good will be watching for the prey, you know? The wound vac agrees. Then we see the Three of Swords. Oh my God. This is a person going under the water in the moon card. Yeah, he was definitely harmed. I think this shows definite, not only just grief for the family, but this guy was just attacked, in my opinion. And put overboard, causing all this pain and suffering. Not only, his pain and suffering, I think, ended once he crossed over, but it doesn't end, unfortunately, for the family. And even for, though a lot of people aren't particularly fond of the wife at the time, Jennifer, um, she wanted to believe that he had just gotten intoxicated. Now, I'm not going to judge her. Maybe that is what her brain can accept. Maybe it's just too much. And you can say, well, she sure took the money. Yeah, she did. But maybe she just didn't have the energy to fight it. I'm not, again, she could be greedy. I don't know. I don't think there's some compensation should come. And I think it would be also up to his parents if they wanted to sue him. But rightfully, by the law, it's going to go to the spouse. So, it's just too bad that things fell apart, but that's not unusual with situations like crimes like these. All right, let's take a look then what the next card is, because we are looking at those that are responsible and also primarily like what set it off. And I feel like we've been shown that we've got a small group of people that are very good at what they do, probably even working for the line. But definitely at the very least work together, or maybe it can't be just a petty thief. Could it have been another passenger? Sure. But I think if it had been another passenger, it wouldn't have been so tidied up. I think he wouldn't have been able to be washed overboard as much. I think where he fell on that ship, and clearly where he must have lain for some period of time enough to leave an imprint, and for that imprint to be photographed, I wonder how he came off of the part where he fell. I don't know. All kinds of questions. I'm getting a small group of people, though, are the ones that initially caused the passing. I'm not getting any cards that show like the Empress, his wife, that kind of thing that would make me go, wonder if she had something to do with it. No, I'm not getting that at all. I'm getting these are people outside of his usual everyday. I'm getting the Ace of Cups and the Nine of Cups. So I'm getting somebody that was truly I really feel like the saying, truly in his cups. I think he was flying high, so to speak. I think he was in an exalted, perhaps very open yet vulnerable state of intoxication, potentially, or altered state of some kind. It just shows that this energy is wide open and maybe a bit careless, quite possibly. I think definitely showing an issue with intoxication. I can say see why his wife would say, oh, maybe she was seeing that night that he was putting him, pardon the wind back, piling him on a bit or quickly or something, and was seeing some effect. The way I understood it, I think she went on to without him back to the cabin. I'm not sure. But anyway, I don't want to get sidetracked. I meant to keeping this short. It's already at 20 minutes and 30 odd seconds here. We get the Two of Wands. Look at that, the travel. Again, often the pictures on the cards tell you something. This to me feels like the cruise ship issue, and it feels like travel. And it's trying to tell us something. And the Seven of Wands. This is quite a challenge. Someone that was trying to defend themselves too. And it could be that the cruise industry trying to make sure that it would survive this. Then again, what I went on about, where it did bring about trying to bring greater transparency. So this could be the bill. Yeah, that would make more sense. Looking toward the future to do with travel when you're on some kind of a journey. So the cards are acknowledging that. Oh, but there was the devil. So this is the message of swords, the page of swords coming in. And we're being shown that there's some kind of corruption that was on board. And I think with a small group of people working together to the ends that caused George Smith to go. I think it could have very well been attempted means to relieve him of his worldly goods, literally, and then wanting to cover up the crime completely, if you know what I mean. This shows that kind of evil was present. This shows that kind of disregard was there, and corruption. I think also corruption within the industry at itself. That's one of the reasons why I would never want to go. After all I've heard, it just doesn't entice me. I think you stand better chances traveling in other ways and staying healthier. Anyhow, we're getting that. Look at that. I'm getting assault and movement. So this makes me feel like while the ship is moving, while they are active, there is assault. There is actual physical. It can begin with an argument, but it ends up often people putting their hands on each other. So I think he was targeted. I do. Especially with the devil card. It's like, where's that prey? Where's that easy mark? I think he was targeted. And I think that it shows that they don't care. What matters more to them is an easy mark rather than that person's life, seeing that person as a human being. They care more about taking something, the greed, the indifference is definitely present too. There's no empathy. There is no empathy. Repeat, there is no empathy. I think to this day, it's saying there's no empathy. We're showing there was some sort of extreme because the Temperance card pops up and saying something needs to be balanced here. And we get the Seven of Pentacles. This is a plan. So it could be that they need to People traveling need to be more careful, for number one, and exercise more caution. Temperance is moderation, and it is enjoy a little bit of everything, nothing in excess. It is the combination of variables, but in a harmonic fashion, not to where you're intoxicated. You really don't want to be that way in a place, especially that you are not familiar with. And even places you are familiar with, you're just really opening yourself up for someone else to take advantage of. And the come away here is what I've just said: moderation, enjoy yourself, be careful, plan, and be thoughtful and mindful. Tend yourselves, be vigilant about your environment, and make sure that you have a good outcome. I think unfortunately for George, nobody was around that could interrupt these people when they were doing what they were doing. And also, it's saying use your intuition about people that are sketchy and people that aren't going to let things go. If there's somebody that you bump into accidentally and they're giving you the stink eye, don't just think that person's probably going to forget about it. They may not. They might be the type of person that has to win. Trust your intuition. I really do feel like that's what's coming through. Also, there are hidden aspects that people don't know about with regard to George's case, and that I do believe he was bullied. I think that with the Five of Swords, this is when somebody just can't stand not having the last word. And sometimes, often there's blood, a bit of blood here in the snow. I've shown that before. Somebody then feels like, aha, now I feel victorious. Now I feel good about it and can move on. But they cause somebody else such despair, such heartbreak. And I just think they had at least three very callous people that were acting in concord with each other um, for this matter, criminal behavior, and they got away with it. So I definitely feel like the Holy Spirit, my guides, want to warn us through the cards too, that to be not on off your guard when you're on holiday. You can enjoy yourself, it's saying, but don't get off out of your mind. Don't get to where you're going to black out. And if you feel like you've been drugged, let someone know immediately. Draw attention to yourself in that way, because people can set you up. They can sense that you're a tourist. They know that you don't have, when you're alone in some way and you're intoxicated, that they have an opportunity to act. And I do believe that that's what happened in George's case. So if you appreciate True Crime Tarot, please give me thumbs up, help my algorithm. Thank you very much. And I will see you in the next video. That will be following this one, I hope. See you later. Bye. Thanks for subscribing.